Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. This is the Tuesday evening, May 3rd meeting of Golden Speakers, Fairfield Toastmasters. Tonight we have the pleasure of a speech from Mr. Nick Campney. The mission of our club is to create a positive and supportive learning environment in which each of us has the opportunity to develop verbal communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Let's hear it for the mission. Tonight we have several pleasures. One is a prepared speech from Nick. Second is a report from our district competitor, Bob Fogel, on his experience there and in contests. Tonight's Toastmaster is Mr. Dan Craig, who will take the gavel now and run the meeting for a while. I'll be back. Hello, Dan. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President. The theme of our meeting tonight is puzzles. Jean has given us a couple of pithy quotes in that regard. Our table topics master tonight is Bob, and I think he's going to give us some opportunities to speak extemporaneously on that subject. My role as Toastmaster is, first of all, to introduce the role players for tonight's meeting and let each tell what their role involves. So let's hear first from our awe counter, Art Atkinson.
Thank you, Dan. As awe counter, I will be listening for and making record of any sounds or words that are used as fillers when one of the members is speaking. Filler words are words that don't convey any useful information or forward the communication, but often are used as a crutch in place of silence and a pause. Examples might be so, but, well, similar words and sounds. I will be also listening for unique personal favorites of anyone who's speaking, and I'll give a brief report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Art. Now let's have Jean Symington Craig, our timer, explain her role for the evening.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. As your timer tonight, I will be timing certain key sections of the meeting. We do have a prepared speech this evening. It'll be 5 to 7 minutes by Nick. At 5 minutes, I will flash the green. At 6 minutes, I will flash the yellow. And at 7 minutes, I will flash the red to let him know where he is. On table topics, these are 1 to 2 minute impromptu speeches. At 1 minute, I will flash green. 1.5, I'll flash yellow, and at 2 minutes, I flash red. And in all these cases, both Nick's speech and table topics, you have 30 seconds after that before you get the hook. We also will have an evaluator, both a speech evaluator and a table topics evaluator. These are typically 2 to 3 minute speeches. And the 2 minutes will be green, 2.5 will be yellow, and then at 3 minutes, I will hold up the red. And again, you do have 30 seconds to wrap it up. I will also be timing a few of the key pieces at the end, the general evaluator, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jean. Now let's hear from Nick in his role as grammarian. Nick, please explain your role tonight.
Yeah, I have a great role. I get a word of the day, which was sponsored by Zion, and his word of the day was compound, which I think is a really unique word with many different layers of it. And the part I'm looking for tonight in particular, well, I posted in the chat all of the meanings, and you get 1 bonus point for each of those, but you also get bonus points for creative compound words, which was what he was interested in. So if anybody has some good compound words in there, we'll get you some extra points. I'll keep track of those. I'll know any other particularly aromatic grammar that I hear. So back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Nick. Looking forward to hearing from you at the end. I have to admit that the amount of information you've provided to us here in the chat, including a whole raft of synonyms from the thesaurus, is very useful. You haven't just done a simple job. I'd say you've done a compound effort presenting the full range of this particular term to us tonight. Let's see. We're going to hear from Art later as General Evaluator, and we'll be hearing from Jean later in the role of Joke Master. Now it's time for us to move to the prepared speech. That's going to be a speech by Nick. The title of his talk is The 10-Year Change. I'm going to be evaluating Nick, so the first thing I'll do is read to you the purpose from the evaluation form. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. So this is a very interesting project because you get to get a do-over on it, incorporating whatever evaluation you've heard from your evaluator, but also the comments that the other members may give you during that period of time. Then this says the purpose of the speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Nick has been a member of Golden Speakers for about 5 months. He's working on his 6th month at this point. He's also evidently working on a book, which will be called The 10-Year Change. And tonight he's hoping to get help in refining his book intro. And he hopes to get both content and speech feedback from us all. Let's welcome Nick Campney.
Thank you, Dan. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially viewers at home. Hello, I'm Nick Campney. This is my latest book, The 10-Year Change. As you can tell from the cover, it's still in the manifestation process. That didn't stop me from sketching out some big, bold, colorful letters up there, drawing a little picture for the cover, imagining my name down the binding, and even putting that 1,000,000 copies sold sticker on it. You see, life is a lot like that. Our world today might not be perfect. You know, it might not be everything that we want, but that shouldn't stop us from going ahead and imagining what we want, thinking about those things that would make life really rich. I've been thinking about that for a long time, most of my life actually. When I was growing up, I had this reoccurring dream, and in that dream, the world became sustainable physically. You know, like the hole in the ozone and the greenhouse gases and the climate change wasn't a worry. All of our products got recycled endlessly. So we were moving along in the right direction, but our society didn't change. So We're still stuck in rush hour traffic. We're stuck with political conflict. We're stuck kind of with emotional burdens. And it all kind of felt the same, even though the physical world was technically moving much smoother. In this book, I lay out ideas, stories, and thoughts that have grown inside of me, that I've lived through, and that have transformed me in my perspective of what the world's going to look like, what the world does look like. The book's broken up into 3 parts. The first part is called Vision. Now, this isn't the vision to see 10 years down the road yet. This is the vision to see what's happening for us today. What's going on right now? What happened yesterday? What thoughts and actions affected today? What thoughts and emotions are we putting out right now that will affect tomorrow and the years to come? The second part is called Balancing the Continuums of Life. This is where we get down to the nitty-gritty. Because probably you, like me, have been patterned and directed down this line of thought where we take an issue, we give it 2 sides, and then you pick a side, and then you stick with that side. And you promote that side as if that were the right side. And eventually we start to see that something changes down the road. And there was actually another solution that was much better. But we were directed to choose that side. Once we see that that general polarity isn't working for us, we start to think of new ideas, new solutions, new ways to rephrase the same problems or the same issues and find something that we can all feel good about. The third section is called Beautiful World. It's all about, where is this going? What can we do? What do I do right now? And what might it look like? So, just like this book and me sketching out that cover, I would like to see us all start to put those stickers up. This is what I want for this world. You know, I want fresh, healthy food. I want a healthy society. I want a wonderful system of politics where I'm so proud of the people who represent us, and I'm so amazed at what they're doing to help us improve our lives and work together. Those stickers that we can put on become easier and easier the more we practice. So I'm about to start to release, chapter by chapter, the early edition of this book. And I'd like you to sign up. So after this speech, I'm going to put in the chat box a little icon where you can click, enter your email address, and then you'll start to get my emails. And once you get these and start to read this, we're going to build the momentum. I'm going to get some early feedback, which I appreciate a lot. And we're going to start to see where this is going. We're going to start to dream together. So I hope you're with me as we watch this little drawing turn into reality. With that, I'm going to send it back to Dan. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Nick. At this point, we are going to take a couple of minutes. Jean, if you would time 2 minutes for us. We'd like to ask each of you to send a chat to Nick with your feedback for him. And remember, in this case, he's going to incorporate the evaluator's feedback and your feedback when he delivers the next talk. So 2 minutes, please.
time.
All right, very good. Madam Timer, can you tell us, did our speaker qualify?
Yes.
Good. Now it's time for Art as general evaluator to preside over the evaluation section. I am ready to give my speech evaluation if you want to bounce it back to me, Art.
Okay, I'll do so. So Dan, please give us your evaluation.
Thank you, Art, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Nick. Nick, I was quite impressed by your talk. You had many good elements. There's a checklist with the evaluation form asking about clarity, eye contact, audience awareness, comfort level. You met all of those criteria very well. One thing that I thought you could have worked on is vocal variety. Though I have to say that there was some good vocal variety already. I particularly noticed in one of your portions of your speech, you spoke a little quieter and kind of leaned in toward the audience. And then after that, you spoke more loudly. It's effective to vary the type of delivery that you use. I think one thing you might want to work on is to give us even more range with that. Perhaps try a few portions of the talk, even just a bit louder, just more contrast in there. It's also very effective to speed up occasionally, slow down occasionally, that sort of thing. This form is asking me what you excelled at. Other than a well-organized and interesting speech, I particularly noticed gestures. You did a terrific job with your gestures. There was one, I can't remember the point, but at one point you're doing something like this with your hand. It made me think of Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off. And it's very effective when you did as you did to count off the points for us. It really keeps your audience awake. Excellent, excellent technique. So that was really nice. The last thing the form is asking me is what you could do to challenge yourself. As I've said, you did so many things so well already. I'm just going to pick an option for something you could do differently. In delivering the speech, it was a very comfortable little fireside chat. You were speaking clearly and confidently to us, almost having a conversation. And we enjoyed having you deliver it that way. To challenge yourself, let's try a different kind of delivery. Try a standing delivery, perhaps, next time. One thing that I think that will benefit is that all of those good gestures that you used can be a little bigger and have even more of an effect for us. So I think that would be an interesting thing to experiment with next time. The last thing I'll notice that you did particularly well is that you gave your audience an action step. You indicated that you're going to be requesting feedback, giving a link to your emails so that we could share in the book as it's being written, and asking us to sign up for that and give us feedback. So, well done in very many ways. Thanks very much. Okay, Art, I'm going to send it back to you to run the table topics and the rest of the meeting.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now it would be time for Table Topics Master Bob to take the gavel and ply us with some questions. Hopefully,
Mr. Toastmaster.
hopefully simple questions, not compound ones.
Puzzles? Yeah. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and viewers at home. This evening is my opportunity to hand out some questions to my other fellow Toastmasters. And with a total of 8 questions, I think they each can, if time allows, I should say, you might get to go a couple times. We'll just have to go one piece of the puzzle at a time. Who would like to go first? Jean. Well, we have 1 through 8.
3.
3.
I'm going to time myself. I can think I can do it.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever hit pay dirt?
Oh, wait. Can we say one thing, Bob?
Yes.
Sorry. Who's the Table Topics Evaluator?
Me.
Okay, so you're okay. I mean, we're pushing everything. You're okay with giving the question and then immediately going into evaluator mode?
Yes, I will do my best, Jean.
I thought that might work. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll get feedback if it doesn't work, but okay. Sorry, back on.
No, we're good. All right, Jean, in your experiences, have you ever hit pay dirt by inserting your knowledge of the opportunity set before you?
Could you repeat that question one more time?
Yes, maybe I reword it. Have you ever prospered or hit pay dirt or succeeding or come up ahead simply by inserting your specific knowledge to gain success? In other words, you were the
No, okay.
puzzle that was missing until they heard from you. The
Yep.
puzzle wasn't solved.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters. I am recalling a situation in Denver when I was working at a commercial bank. I was the supervisor of several support staff. You know how it is when people don't like their job and they're uncomfortable in their jobs. They're not happy and nobody's happy with them. I had a woman who was in the word processing department. This was at the time when there was a whole separate department and they would do letters and memos and things. And it was very isolating and she just wasn't really happy there, but she was good at it. So she stayed there. And then I hired another person. Her name was Robin. The first one was Robin. The second one was Mary. And Mary, I hired to be sort of a opening accounts kind of person, a rep person, mingling with the people, much more social like that, also having to be knowledgeable. She was not working out either. It turned out that I went back and I looked at Mary's resume and snuck in there was a reference to her having a certificate in word processing. And I thought, So I talked to both Mary and Robin and said, what would you guys think about switching jobs? Mary goes to the word processing area. Robin comes out here to be the account person working more directly under me. And they looked at each other and they said, yes, that sounds good. So that's what happened. And both women flourished in their new spot. And I just was so tickled pink that I solved two problems at once just by paying attention to those women and how they were feeling.
Good, Jean.
Mhm.
All right. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, Art. We have 1 through 8 minus 3.
So let's just go with number 1.
Number 1. When at work or home with others during a problem-solving matters, are you the techie guy? Are you the public relations guy? Are you the brainchild? Or are you the hands-on guy? How do you fit in that puzzle?
Fellow Toastmasters, this is indeed an interesting question. I think of myself in most circumstances, but particularly this kind of circumstance you're describing, as very concrete bound. I tend to hear about a problem and a solution proposed by others, and I think to myself, what is the problem we're trying to solve here? A lot of times I hear solutions that don't seem to really address the key problem that everybody is aware of but hasn't spoken of. My mind always tends to look for concrete fixes. If something is not working, I want to know what part of the process is not working. Fix the specific step that's not working. I don't go for compound solutions that involve many people doing a lot of different things. I try to hone it down to one concrete step. This doesn't necessarily get the best solution, but it gets an actionable step sooner than other processes would. It's not an ideal way to be, but this is how my mind works. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Art. Very good. Well, which one of you other gentlemen would like to step in here? Hey, Dan. We
How
have,
about have we done number 2 yet?
not yet.
Okay.
Okay, this could be right up your alley, buddy. Here we go. If you could add one piece of the puzzle of advice to our world leaders, what would it be?
Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, there's a whole variety of world leaders out there. So I'm going to try to think of one universal piece of advice that might benefit any of those leaders, wherever they're coming from, whatever their angle is. I think the most effective strategy that any and all of the world leaders could use is to think of the world. It's their responsibility to think of their country. That's a given. Whatever the structure, the political structure that's being used in the country, the chief aim of it should be the betterment of the conditions within the country and the safety of that country. But if all the world leaders could think not only of that, but bigger, think, what is the result of the actions that I'm guiding my country to take on the entire world? I think it would also lead to greater understanding of what motivates some other countries in the actions that they choose, and perhaps there could be less conflict in trying to prioritize between what we want and what they want, and we've got to be enemies because we don't need the same thing. So it's not only a piece of advice, it's something of a wish. If all the leaders of the world could have a broader awareness, then I believe that we'd have a more harmonious and successful world. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan, for answering that challenging question. Hey, Nick, you want to try one?
All right. Hit me with 6,
Number 6.
but give me just a second.
Okay. This one's more a little lighthearted. Okay.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. Before you go on vacation, do you plan it all out so you don't leave any pieces of the puzzle out? Or you just throw a backpack on and hit the road and take it as it comes?
Thank you, Bob. You know, my life is quite exciting, and I know you're secretly hoping that I'll get back to Miami on this, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to Orlando, but I'm not going there because this story is not my story. This is my cousin's story. Through marriage, he's a Colombian. And I get it. I don't want to break it to you. It's amazing. From an American's perspective, Jean would appreciate this. Getting things organized, looking up flight schedules, where am I going to go? The Colombian perspective is a lot different. So he's telling me this story of how he got the whole family, I think a wife and 3 kids, and they're going to Disneyland. And they got their ticket, and they're so excited. And as in many different countries, when in Colombia, they use public transportation. Buses just run all the time. You don't think about where you're going. You know, once you get there in Colombia, when I first went there, which is not that long ago, in 2008, they didn't have maps. They'd never seen a map. They asked everyone where to go. And the answer was always derecho, which meant straight ahead. And they would tell you at some point when you needed to do something else, but the start is always Derecho, straight ahead. Yeah. Go straight ahead and then take that roundabout and go back there. Anyhow, so they arrived thinking that they were just going to ask people. They were going to find out where to go. Everything was going to fall into place. It was going to be very organized once they got here. Off the airport, luggage in hand, onto the curb. There was no public transportation. There was no way to know where Walt Disney was. Nobody to ask, like, how do I get there? They were totally frozen. They didn't know what to do at all. And I, with my American mind, was going, no! We had a good laugh over it. And on their second trip back, they knew exactly where they were going and what they were going to do.
That's a funny story, Nick. That's a good one.
Timer has a quick question. Did I show the red card twice?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to multitask here, and I suddenly thought I hadn't shown the red card yet. So, okay, so we're all good. All right.
Thank you, Madam Timer. Do we have, Madam Timer or Mr. Toastmaster, do we have time for more questions?
We got time for
Yeah,
two. We got time for two more.
Okay. Well, who would like to step up? Yes, Jean. We have 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oof. All right, how about number 6?
Number 6. Oh, excuse me. I got your hopes all up. Nick just answered number 6.
Oh, so what are the available numbers?
Number 5. Oh, excuse me. Number 4, number 5, and number 8. That's what it does. Carry on running. Yes.
4, 5, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how about 5?
Number 5. What do you believe are your strengths in puzzle solving? I'll give you some examples. Are you good at Rubik's Cube, knowledge of film, sports, Hollywood, etc.? Please explain.
Knowledge of puzzles. Say that again, that first part.
What do you believe are your strengths that you have, your strengths
Right.
for solving puzzles? And
Okay.
I just give examples.
Yeah.
You can pick anything.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters. Why are our products not showing up on the front page? This is what I was dealing with as an account representative, account executive for a online art company where the client that I had, which was Target, it's a big client, our art products were not showing up nearly high enough in the search results and in the feeds to really help drive sales. Mr. Table Topics Master, I feel that my strength, once I get enamored with a problem, it is the detail orientation that I have. I can get into the minutia like you would not believe. I feel that if I just analyze it, work it out, I can get to the bottom, and then I can see what direction we should take. I've noticed that sometimes this goes far beyond what somebody else might be willing to do to come up with a result. in the example that I mentioned, I found out that the way the target algorithms worked on their website was that the margins, profit margins for them were not sufficient. And so the items were sticking at the back because they want the more profitable items up front. So what I did is I worked out, once I understood the principles as to what was going on and why our products weren't showing closer. And there were other factors as well, like shipping times. If you have faster shipping times, they go higher up in the search results. So you have to really work on your shipping processes. But in any case, I realized that if I wanted to get quantity, I needed to reduce the margin and sell them at a lower cost, but I would make up in terms of our company's profits by greater volume, greater quantity. So that's what I did. And when I went to visit Target, she said we were one of their top vendors. Problem solved.
Very good, Jean. The world needs more people like you.
I think that we have hit our time.
Oh,
Okay.
So evidently I wasn't counting very well the last time I spoke. We made it to 1 instead of 2.
this was not a compound problem, Dan. It's a very simple, numbers and
Well, I don't have a compound brain. I just have a simple brain.
uh-huh.
So sometimes the tasks are too complex for me to grasp in
Right.
total.
That's why you and I are a partner, because we're a compound
Whatever you say, honey.
partners.
Can you tell us, Madam Timer, which of our speakers for table topics qualify?
Okay. Everyone qualified. So that's Dan, Art, Nick, Dan, and Jean.
Okay. Send a chat to me as Toastmaster with your vote for table topics. And Art, since I've gotten the floor, it'd be okay if I just go ahead and introduce Bob to do the evaluations? Okay, very good. Thumbs up from our general evaluator. Let's hear from Mr. Rob Fogel, who is performing compound duty tonight. He was the topics master, and now he's the topics evaluator.
Topics
Wow.
evaluator.
Take it away, Bob.
And for the timer, we're doing what? How many do you have, Bob?
I have 1, 2, 3,
5. You've got 5.
5. Yes, I do. I have 5.
So I'm going to suggest 3 to 4, maybe.
Okay.
Is that so? Green at 3, yellow at 3.5, and red at 4.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. First of all, we started with Jean, and I gave her a question about, what did I give her a question about? Anyways, she greeted the audience, and then she created a story, a scenario for us at the bank, and the two ladies that were in the wrong position. However, they weren't quite fulfilling their roles in those positions. And Jean, with her analytical mind, studied. It was interesting how we found out not only did she study the bottom line, the margin, the profit margins, she also is capable of studying people and understanding people and blending them together. And that's very fascinating and very good for a company that wants results like any company would. And in addition to that, she pointed out that these two ladies, Mary and Robin, were ultimately happier as a result of this happening. Mm-hmm. So all in all, not only did she bring better profit margin and solve problems, she also helped these other ladies and doing better in what they were doing, but also so they could all get along, so to speak. Good job. Art, the next one was Art is a thinker when it comes to things. Art, he likes things concrete. He doesn't like it to be other than concrete. And Art's analytical mind, which I found, is that he likes to look at the very beginning and he likes to look at the very end. And all he has to do is just draw a line between the two. As Art stated, it can be a benefit or it can be a problem at the same time. I like that Art, he's always making progress. He likes to hone it down. My only suggestion would be is just maybe a little bit more gestures, Art, like, hey, I made it, or something to that effect, or I got it. Dan, he got the solve the world problem, and he came with a very effective strategy. His chief aim was that he would speak to the world leaders not only to look at their own country, as everybody looks out for themselves, but he wanted to give a vision to those other world leaders that they can look beyond. And by doing so, they would help lead their country, people, to be in greater harmony, and that we can all work together. Dan, not only that, it was one of his greatest wishes at the end. That's why he changed it, or ended it, excuse me. His only suggestion I have for Dan is maybe just give us a suggestion what you would say. Although you probably did and I messed it. Nick, he had a good appearance. And Nick, he brought, he greeted, he brought a good hook in there. Oh, excuse me. I'm reading the wrong one. I'm sorry. I was reading his first one. Nick, he was going to go to Orlando. He immediately switched it to his cousin. It was great. There's a word for it, Gene calls it. I forget, allegory or something. You switch it. And he told a funny story about his family or their family. Nick had good gestures. He's funny. He had all that stuff going. It was great. And he created a perfect story compared to the question. I really don't have any suggestions for Nick. He just did a great job. Jean, another question came to Jean, and Jean laid out the problem. She hooked us right. She hooked us right with a question. That was good. And she says, why are not the products at Target making money? So it just brought us right in. She laid out a plan. She thought it through. She gave answers. And again, Jean, she has the ability to look at the broad picture of everything, from shipping to money to everything, and pull it all together. And you can really tell Jean's strength in that. Only suggestion I might have is maybe you might mention, hey, I got a bonus or something. But other than that, that's what I got.
Let's ask the timer, Jean, which of our evaluators qualified?
I gave a little bit extra time to Bob because I thought 5 was quite a number. So I'm going to say both qualified.
Okay. As before, we're going to send votes to me as Toastmaster. Just go ahead and say eval or EV or something like that, and vote for Bob or Dan. And as we do that, it's back to Art as General Evaluator to round out the rest of the meeting.
I'll do so once I've submitted my vote. I'd like to take just a moment as a general evaluator to, well, I'm ahead of myself. I'll call for reports. Could Jean, as a timer, give us her timer's report?
Yes, Mr. General Evaluator. Nick's prepared speech was 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Dan is his evaluator with 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Table topics, Jean's first one, 2 minutes and 29 seconds. I tell you, it's quite shocking when you're talking and you forget to look at the timer. And then suddenly you're going, it's 2:20. So anyway, 2:29, but I didn't cheat. You could be okay to ask that question, but I did not cheat. Art had 1 minute, 56 seconds. Dan had 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Nick had 2 minutes and 37 seconds. So that would be a little over. And my second one, honestly, was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, I mean, I shut my mouth. So it looks like, where are we? Did we vote already? Did we vote on table topics?
Yes.
Did I leave Nick in there?
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's, he gets the bonus then, It's on the house. And our table topics evaluator, Bob, I had him, and as I say, I gave him about an extra 30 seconds. He was 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nick, are you ready to give us a Grammarians report?
Yes. Thank you, Art. Let's see. Everyone had a lot of fun with the word compound. I think that was quite apparent. So let's get down to what else was in there. I heard some words that I didn't know or hadn't heard before. Pay dirt, I was not aware of, that Bob informed us is something to prosper. Tickle pink from Jean, I had heard, very common, but it's an unusual phrase that gets to mean happy and joyful. And then Art said actionable, which I had to double check to see if that was a word, but he gets credit. Actionable is a word. So put those together and we have a fairly exciting day. And my one other comment I have was this. It was more of the way Dan tied together than the words, but how he drew out his sentence on what his desires were for the world, and also I wish for that. It was a nice grammatical bridge to nail that moment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nick. As the odd counter, I'll report that the word and used to string sentences together rather than a period and a pause was the far and away winner tonight. Nick had 2 ums, 5 ands, 5 so's, and 6 so's. Bob was heavy on the ums with 9 ums tonight, 4 ands, and a well. Jean amazingly had an 8 ands, a so, and a like that. Dan had 3 ands and 1 so. And I do not know what my own counts are. I just said an and. That's the counter's report. Next up, we have Jean as the joke master to entertain us with a piece of humor.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I have several here, should go quickly. A man goes to his friend and tells him, "Hey, I finally finished this 3,000-piece puzzle you gave me. It took me only 1 year, 2 months, and 5 days." Friend said, How is that special? And the man said, "Well, the box said 6 to 12 years." All right. Laid up in the hospital, James Thurber passed the time doing crossword puzzles. He's an author. One day he asked a nurse, "What 7-letter word has 3 U's in it?" She said, "I don't know, but it must be unusual." The last one. A friend of mine tried to finish a jigsaw and realized he'd accidentally swallowed part of it. He's trying now to find his inner peace, Piece. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Those are good ones.
They are good ones.
Okay. Meeting awards time. Dan, would you tell us who's won the competitions for the coveted awards?
All right. First of all, the competition that had the clearest winner, best speaker, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Way to go, Nick.
Yay.
Next up, let's do table topics. I need a little drum roll here. It was Jean.
Yay.
Woo!
Oh,
Yay!
oh, she's so excited. And finally, another drum roll, please. Best evaluator, me.
Dan. Yay. Dan. The Craig House, bunch of winners. Yay.
Yes, we could adopt Nick and it would be a clean sweep by the Craigs. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
I have to say, Nick, I had no idea what visionary communication would be like until you started speaking in this club. And that's been a common thread in all of your presentations so far. And I wanted to thank you for introducing me to what it is.
Mhm.
Moving on, I'd like to ask Bob Fogel to share with us some of the experience that he had in going to district and competing. Would you take the gavel and tell us, Bob?
And also, can I just also say too, and just some of the, breakouts, some of the content of the conference, if you attended any speakers or,
Workshops.
topics like that. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Mhm.
It was a great meeting. I stayed for the whole thing. I went to all the breakouts and I enjoyed all the way through. The table topics, what Art participated in, not table topics, but table topics. Anyways, they had 3 competitors and they did pretty good. It was interesting to see some different people there. It was nice. Some people I knew, which was good. I got to meet, of course, everybody. There's about 60, 70 people, I would say, there. The breakouts was very informative, especially when they had the speech evaluation breakout. The guy up there, he knew his stuff. And as a matter of fact, I got this little card from him. It's just kind of a laminated card, but it's just a real cheat sheet on how to do your speech evaluation. And
Bob, who was it? Who gave the session?
I'm
You
sorry,
know?
I'm not going names, Gene. I could point him out, but I don't
Okay.
remember.
It
There's a-
wasn't Mark Latta. Was it Mark
No, it
Latta?
wasn't Mark. Mark was one of the winners, but no, it wasn't Mark. And they had two different rooms, so you got to pick and choose which one you were in. And it just so happens it was just a younger fellow. He was, I wouldn't say he was even 35, about Nick's age, about what he looked like. And then there was another lady, she was older. But they were kind of tag teaming. But he was one of the speaking, and that was good. And then, of course, I participated in the speech contest too. What I found was something interesting. I don't know how to put this. So when I did my speech, I felt really good about it. And then I see other people, they did really good too. And at the end of the very meeting, when they were handing out, who won, it's not that I'm a poor loser or nothing. That's not it, because they were better than I was. But I had got so jacked up, so pumped up, so that when you don't win, it was just like a super low for a while, and it really didn't hit me at the meeting. It didn't hit me till the next day. For some reason, I just felt super low. And then it lasted half a day, and I just kind of like snapped out of it. I relate it to, you always hear athletes like they're running competition and they're so close, and then they lose, and they talk about how they kind of have a rough time there and they bounce back. So that was just a weird feeling. I'm sure maybe you have lost speeches when you thought, yes, I did my best, and you come down. And I found the best thing about the whole thing is that I just had to kind of snap out of it, but then just started like, hey, wait a minute, I got this far, and think about the good things, so to speak. So, what else happened there? They made a new change of officers there. We got to meet them, and it was just an all good meeting. It was nice to meet some people.
So, Bob, could you identify anything that the speakers who won first and second place, those speakers, did they do anything that you could identify that would be an improvement to what you had presented?
Yeah, I can identify with all three of them. I feel like my speech, the context, my speech, just my whole speech from beginning to end might have been off color, just compared to what the lady that won, because she was talking about a medical.
And we both felt that, Bob, the version of your speech that you gave was the best version that we had ever seen. So it wasn't like you made a mistake, an internal mistake, or it was as good as it could be. I mean, it was really, you had incorporated, who was in which car, and who was on first and what was happening there. That was better. That inspirational speech, the international speech, is one of the key parts, is having a message, or highlighting something that people ought to be paying attention to, or thinking about, inspiring them. And that, I think, is where that's where I think you got bested a little bit. It's because, if you had some sort of statistics about the kids in rural Iowa that get into trouble, and we have to, it was somehow, it was a great story. We liked it. But in terms of a kind of a message going forward, I thought the organ donor, the organ donor,
yeah,
was they kind of had some messages. But the key thing is, Bob, and you feel what you feel, because it is kind of a bummer to not come in first. But and the way they announce it third, and then second, and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I got a shot here. I got a
Yeah.
shot.
That
And
was
then
the
not
worst.
first, and it's still not you, and you're just
Yeah.
going, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
But it's really an educate. I mean, this is like your baseline. So you like that when Art asks, what did you learn or did you see, or you can. I think if you think about, I think if there was a way to add some sort of message in yours, that would have been what would have helped. Something that is going to better the audience or help them take a different perspective, or that's the kind of stuff.
Sure.
But you didn't do anything wrong. I mean, your belt didn't loosen and your pants fall down or anything like that would have been. And you look good, by the way. You look very
yeah.
good. He's in a suit. So it was just, it's just the way it was. But we were so proud of ourselves that we managed to see it all. Dan and I were just like, because I'm sitting there going, puppy's going, what the heck is going on here? Where's my walk? All right. So.
Oh, I had fun. I really did. I felt really comfortable, really ease. That's why I belongs up on stage. Personally, that's what I like.
Yeah. Yeah. So now everybody knows.
In the category of speeches called tall tales, your speech would fit very comfortably in the tall tales category. The problem with presenting that speech in the international speech competition is that the content is being judged too for how inspirational it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a big learning lesson. Next year, I'll know how to direct my speech.
Yeah, you can think about, and it's true. I mean, there's a lot of other topics. Okay, well, we just wanted to give you kudos that it was your best speech. You did it the best we've ever seen it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
good
you
on
did
that.
us proud.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. No,
Folks, I got to depart the meeting now. So
Okay.
I adjourn us until Tuesday the 10th.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Very good. Very good.